The opening height will be 183. Quite a modest opening height, really just used for training purposes in some respects. They've only been out there about half an hour, and with 15 women, that doesn't give them very much time to get their sights in, get their run-ups down and really grooved in. Don't expect to see Mahuchik perhaps jumping until the bar gets up to about 192 maybe. Perhaps the bar before 188 is more likely.
15 athletes in total.
So we get underway with the presentation. Ilia Pieroni from Italy, the three-time Italian champion, twice outdoors and once indoors, starts the procession. Mero Mace, 4 times Belgian champion outdoors.
From Ukraine, let's welcome the Olympic bronze medalist.
And the first of 2 Ukrainians, Irina Heroshenko. As I mentioned, the Olympic bronze medalist and the World Championship silver medalist from last year, Maria Zodzik of Poland.
The World Indoors 2 years ago,
Christina Honschel, 6th at the Olympics, and a 2-meter performer herself. Asia Tavernini, well, she did well in the qualifiers, jumping 191, just 1 centimetre short of her best. Carmen Bruce, 2022 World Under-20 champion from Estonia. The Finnish record holder, Ella Junila. Mother's the Finnish long jump record holder, by the way. There we have Louise Ekman, who I mentioned. Late developer, now 29 years of age, but potentially an outside contender, I'd say, for a medal. The ever-effervescent Maria Vukovic of Montenegro. Won a European silver 4 years ago in Munich. Morgan Lake. Now 29 years of age, she's been around competing at a very high level ever since she was a teenager and a world under-20 champion. Elena Kulachenko, the European under-23 champion in 2023 from Cyprus. Solange Chiquel, 12 times French champion indoors and out. Angelina Topic took a World Indoor Championship silver medal back in March, and very much the favourite. She leads the European lists with 2 metres and 3 centimetres indoors, 2 metres and 1 outdoors. Yaroslava Mahuchik. She won in Munich, she also won in Rome, and she's also the reigning Olympic champion. So the first to get underway, Pieroni. Pieroni, still jumping in the tight. It's a bit on the cool side. In Italy, member of the Carabinieri, the police sports club. Well, this morning, when I was commentating on the race walk with my colleague Tim Hutchings, we were talking about this sports club set up in Italy. And the Carabinieri sponsors a lot of athletes. They're required to pop in couple of times a year, do a bit of target practice, just catch up on the rules and regulations, but it's very much a sponsored position. Air Force also has a very big sports club in Italy. Some other countries also mirror that approach as well, particularly Germany. Pieroni recently took the Italian title in Firenze with a 190 clearance. So she's coming here in reasonable form. Well, that's a bit disappointing. Bit of a grimace there from Pieroni. Now 23 years of age. Some good results at European age group level. Pieroni. 4th in the 2nd European Under-18 Championships back in 2018. Now it's Mero Mace. Well, she's been struggling with injury this year. She improved her season's best to 191 in qualifying. Can't get over 183 on this occasion, nice. She was a World Championship finalist last year in Tokyo. Heroshenko. Heroshenko looked good in qualifying. Straight over the 4 height she attempted. All of the 15 women cleared 191 in qualifying. If you follow high jumping, you know that's Pedashenko's very familiar routine. Sails over. There's a big, noisy and enthusiastic Ukrainian contingent in the crowd. There's, of course, they're coming here to see Mahuchik. Heroshenko also very much a firm favourite. Maria Zodchik took that silver medal last year in Tokyo in a downpour. She even managed to clear a personal best of 2 meters. Oh. Looked as though she didn't get her run up right. She came in at a very sharp angle, very late in this on the run up. It was just not in the right place at the right time. Hwanchung hasn't competed too frequently, had 2 indoor meetings and then jumped a couple of times outdoors before coming to Birmingham. He struggled a little bit with injuries this year. Hensel didn't compete in the German Championships in Bochum last month, but she qualified with that 2 meters from last year, which she did in the Heilbronn meeting. She was selected as part of the German team. There is a bit of a question mark over Honsel's fitness. She did clear 194 a little bit earlier in the summer. But that's nicely over. It'll start getting tough when the bar goes beyond 190. As I say, for some of these women, because they only have a very restricted amount of time on the competition surface after they've warmed up in the track alongside this Alexandra Stadium. They are using this as almost their last training jump. Tavernini took the 2025 World Student Games, I should say, silver medal when they were held in Germany, in Bochum. Went to the World Championships but didn't make the final last year. Just rushed it. Height wasn't really there, just dipped in with a shoulder. Next up, Carmen Bruce. Bruce coming back to fitness. She's starting to jump well again and really make a mark on the senior stage. Her personal best dates back to 2022 when she cleared 196 when winning that World Junior title, World Under-20 title, to give it its proper name. Oh. Just shortened her stride, 2 or 3 strides out. Just took off too far away. Just clipped it with the back of her calves. A little bit of a surprise to see so many of these first 7 jumpers having a problem with this height, just 2 over. Pedashenko and Honsel at the moment. Janila took a bronze medal at the European Indoor Championships back in 2021. 27 years of age, comes from one of Finland's top clubs, represents Tampere Peliento, who were the Finnish representatives in the European Clubs Cup back in May. So took Janila nicely over and doing well. Louise Ekman finished 6th in the World Indoor Championships in Torun in March. Nicely over 181 as well. Once upon a time, this would be a real struggle for her. But with the advice of Kaisha Bergqvist, who's in the audience, I saw her in the qualifiers. She's gone on to much better things this year. So Maria Vukovic. Always comment on the fact that she's very tall. One of the tallest women in the top level of world high jumping, 194. This year has equalled her Montenegrin record at 198. Nicely over 183. Good determined jump there from Vukovic. I think that augurs well. She's looking as though she's got a game face on. And of course, good jumps at early heights give you confidence. So Morgan Lake, as we were saying, struggled a little bit in qualifying. But that was a nice jump. Clipped the bar, but she's over. Those failures can come back to haunt you later in the competition if you're up there in medal contention. So you want to get it right every time you jump. There is, of course, room for manoeuvre, room for failure with 3 attempts at every height. But the countback rules mean that those failures can come into consideration. Kulichenko. Yes. Slightly lackluster effort, but she's over. So the Cypriot. She's a student at the University of Georgia. She won NCAA titles. Very high quality competition every single year, the American Collegiate Championships. Salon Jiquel, and her father, Jean-Charles, well, he's still the French record holder at 235. His daughter, over 183. He's also got a brother, Clement, who's jumped 218, very much a family of high jumpers. I'm sure there's a wealth of knowledge floating around the Jiquel household. There's Dragutin Topic, father and coach to Angelina Topic. And also one of the long jump finalists as well. Extends his influence to the horizontal jumps. And over 2 meters indoors this year. We do have 6 women in this competition who've jumped 2 meters or better. Topper's just taking her time. The men's 10,000 metres coming up shortly. That's why the cones are out on the track. Topic navigates her way round the cones. And she's comfortably clear as well. So no Yaroslava Mahuchik at this height. We'll start the second attempts. 9 women over at the first attempt at 183, as you'd expect, a fairly large contingent. 5 women to have a second attempt. And now Lydia Pieroni has to compose herself and get it together for a third attempt at this height. Well, the last thing she wants to do, having made a major championship final, is to have an NM, a no marker against her name. Meryl Mace. I thought she was going to get over, just slightly chopped her stride on the approach. Good height, you can see there, but just tickled it with her heels, and she knows that could have been, but for a fraction of a centimetre, a successful jump. There he is, Zojic. I was a bit surprised to see what a poor first attempt it was, but Zojic, I've watched her in recent years in many competitions and describe her as an erratic jumper. She and her coach may dispute that, but she can look bad on one jump and then look brilliant on another. Unfortunately, that was the former. That didn't look good at all. So, just like the two women before her, she's got to compose herself. Zojic, though, she's got the experience. She's got a World Championship medal on her mantelpiece in Poland. Here, Tavanina. Second in the World Student Games, as I mentioned last year. No, so she's brought the bar down again. So just Carmen Bruce to take her second attempts, and then we've got Pieroni, Mice, Zojic and Tavanini to take their third attempts. And Bruce as well if she doesn't clear this height. Wasn't that far away, very similar to her first attempt. Got her torso over, just left her legs dangling a little bit. If you look at her Instagram accounts, she feels that physically she's back to her best that she had in 2022, 2023. She suffered a whole series of really bad injuries from the summer of 2023, and she's only really starting to come back to the top level now. But obviously it's a question of confidence, it's a question of technique as well. But it's good to see Bruce, regardless, back in a major championship final. Now, Pieroni. This is do or die time. Third and final attempt at the Italians' opening height of 1.83 m. First of 5 women to attempt this opening height at 1.83 m. Well, made hard work of clearing that height, but in the end it was quite a good clearance. Relief. She's registered a valid mark. Now, Meryl Mace. First 2 attempts, frankly, were not that good. There wasn't the sensation that she was just clipping the bar off. But she gets over once. She obviously takes a leaf out of Pieroni's playbook. And at the third attempt produces a good effort. Relief on the face of her coach. Zojic. Just seen 2 women go clear at the third attempt. Oh yes. That was a much better jump from Zojic. As I say, sometimes she looks terrible, and sometimes she turns it on and gets a soaring clearance. And that was a good effort. Well, Tavanini should be inspired. She's seen 3 women go over on their third attempts. And all 3 good attempts, it has to be said. It does make you wonder why they couldn't have got it right with their first 2 attempts. In case you're wondering why Tavanini is wearing a black ribbon, it's to commemorate the sad death of Livio Baruti, the 1960 Olympic 200 metres champion who died last weekend. And Tavanini gets over. What were they doing during the first 2 jumps? Baruti, in addition to winning that gold medal, was very much an inspirational figure. He was involved in Italian Athletics Federation administration after his retirement, a mentor to many, many athletes over the years. Also quite a well-known journalist as well. Carmen Bruce. She's the last woman to take her third and final attempt at this height. 4 previous ones have all got over. And so has she. We've still got 15 women in this competition. Well, to be fair, she did look quite good at the first 2 attempts she had at this height. Just tickled it off. She got her technique a little bit more grooved in with that third and final attempt. So that's her coach, Gasparecro. So now the bar moves quickly up to 1.88 meters. Louise Ekman just trying to keep warm. It is getting quite chilly. And a further complicating factor is we're going to have the 10,000 meter men in action. It's a big field. Almost inevitably, after a few laps, they're going to be strung out on the track. But all of the women are actually going to be just taking their jumps from within those traffic cones. There's a few that actually go a bit further out onto the track, like Angelina Topic. Now, Pieroni taking off the tights that she wore for all 3 jumps at 183. Zojic wrapping up warm, quite wise. I think Pieroni has been just told to wait a moment until the race gets underway. So just having to relax, but I don't think that's the way she might be feeling. A bit of nervous tension creeping in with Pieroni. There's Morgan Lake looking relaxed with those sunglasses on. Not needed in terms of the fact that we're getting towards dusk, but it does help you focus. You just go into your inner zone. Now Pieroni, after that brief hiatus, goes to a mark. Oh, led in, took it off with a leading arm. Well, she got over 183, but she's looking as though she's having some technical problems tonight. Just doesn't look very confident in her own ability to get over the height. But she did get over 183 on the third attempt, and it was a good clearance. Mace. 21 years of age. He's actually the second youngest in the field, behind Topic. No, not good. And there you see what the problem is going to be. Weaving your way through. Oh, took off a long way away. The coach we just saw a glimpse of there, Irina Pustovoit, have a few things to say to her. Sojic doesn't start out on the track, but might be distracted by the runners coming behind her. You see them up on her shoulder in a moment. There we go. Well, the long procession. That's it. They've gone now for about 65 seconds. To be enough for her to get a jump in. Oh, that looks a lot better after the difficulties at the previous height. It also looks a lot more determined as well. Did just skim the bar with her heels, but that's a clearance. Christina Honsel. Honsel brings it down. No. Looking at it again. Not a bad attempt. She might well have got over the bar if it had been set at 187. There's a coach. Brigitte Kerslagen. Kerslagen, under her maiden name, took a bronze here back in 1978. Famous competition with Rosie Ackerman, clearing 2 meters for the first time in a women's competition. Sarah Simeone also cleared 2 meters as well in that competition. Should say for the first time at the European Athletics Championships. Now to Vanina. Well, she's got herself revved up, G'd up now. Bruce. Coming from a few lanes onto the track. No, just led in with a shoulder. Really wasn't there. return of Ella Janila. Has stood on a podium at the European Championships, an indoor one back in 2021. Shorter run-up than many of the jumpers. Comes from the left-hand side. Wasn't much speed there. There wasn't really very much to turn horizontal velocity into vertical lift. Height just wasn't there. Now Louise Ekman comfortably clear over 1m83. Been a busy year for Ekman. And she gets over. Ekman, once making a breakthrough indoors, has been much in demand by meeting organisers. 3 over this height now. Ekman, Tavanina and Zojic. Now Vukovic. I know it was 183, but I like the look of determination on her face. She looked as though she was really ready to rumble. There was hesitancy on the face of some of the other athletes. Perhaps a little bit of nervousness. But Vukovic has been there. No major international titles, but a silver 4 years ago. And that was an excellent clearance from the Montenegrin. Vukovic now 34 years of age, but still jumping as well as ever. That's a personal best of 198. She's cleared that on 2 occasions, in Filafil and then Budapest this year. And sitting. This is a passing thought. Vukovic has been setting Montenegrin records since she was a teenager about 15 years ago, maybe even before that. Morgan Lake set her first British record last year in Paris when she went over 2 meters. This is 188. No, height just wasn't there. Has never got on the podium at a senior championships, was 4th at the 2023 World Championships Lake. Now Kulichenko, she was 7th at the Olympic Games in Paris 2 summers ago, made the World Championships final last year. So she's got experience on the international stage, shouldn't be phased, but brings the bar down at 188. Took back-to-back American collegiate titles in 2024 and 2025. She's now graduated from the University of Georgia, the Cypriot. It's probably Cyprus's only realistic hope for a medal here. Of course, they did have a few good performers in some other events. Like Josif Kassidis in the hammer earlier in the week. Now, Solène Chiquel. No, that's not there. So we've only had 4 women over this height on their first attempts. And we're coming on to the 2 medal favourites. The 2 women who perhaps will be battling it out for the gold. Let's not jinx things. And Kalina Topic to jump first, followed by Yaroslava Mahuchik. Well, Topic has had slight back problems in the past. Also remember she had an injury, but count back then that she still managed to share a bronze at last year's World Championships. Oh, that was far too far away. There was bags of height there. She was several meters away from the upright. Can't translate that from Serbian, but I don't think it would be some very nice words if I could. However, she's only 21 years of age, but she does have bags of international experience. So we're now on to the second attempt. Jaroslava Mahučić still passing. I think she is coming in at 192, very confident of her own ability. That's the sort of height she comes in at in Diamond League meetings. Pieroni, like all the Italians. And of course, last night it was absolute bedlam in that first bend. All those seats there, right by the high jump fan. Took off too far away as well. As a third attempt. Just remember, she did pull out a very good jump with her third attempt at 183. There she is, Jaroslava Mahučić. Still only 24 years of age, but she's won every major title. Started off with great wins at the European Under-18 Championships, went on to European and World Under-20 titles. She's got the lot. So, Mero Mace, not a particularly good first attempt, has to improve here. No. Realistically, that wasn't an improvement. But just like Pieroni, has a third attempt. There's a coach. It's also the coach to Norwitz, the very talented heptathlete, two-time world indoor champion. She doesn't look entirely happy, does Mero Mace. Looks as though she might be in a little bit of discomfort, maybe a very slight strain. Twinge. Heroshenko. This should be straightforward for Heroshenko, looking at the way she jumped in qualifying and went over 183. Just got it wrong on her first attempt. Now 31 years of age. That's a lot better. Over the years, Heroshenko has got an absolute long list of fourth and fifth places. Fourth at the Olympic Games in 2021, fourth at the World Championships in 22. Fifth at the World Championships in 2023. So I was so happy to see her get those bronze medals in 2024 when she took the European bronze in Rome and then went on to get Olympic bronze as well. Really deserving it. Christina Honsel. Well, Honsel. Fourth at the World Indoor Championships in 2024. Sixth at the Olympic Games later that year. Those are her two best results on the senior stage. Did get a silver medal back in 2019 at the European Under-23 Championships. Very much Germany's #1 jumper at the moment, and has been for a couple of years. Well, the height was there, She was trying to almost jackknife over the bar. Got her torso over and then just clipped it with several bits of a lower anatomy. So a lot of women struggling in this competition. Angelina Toppet left with her own thoughts after that failure at the first time of asking at 188. Bruce in some discussions with the official. The officials giving them much more than the allotted time because they are having to weave their way through the men's 10,000 metres, which is now broken up into several groups and is dotted around the track. There's a leading group of 4, and then it's about 100 metres back to a very big pack who are just going in front of Bruce at the moment. So just as you're getting ready to jump, then another 10,000 metre runner comes past. And we're only 17 minutes into the race. There's probably about another 11 minutes which they're going to have to weave their way through the runners in the 10,000 metres. It is a distraction, there's no doubt about it. No. So Bruce, a great year was 2022, as I mentioned, with that World Under-20 title, 7th at the World Championships later on in Eugene. This year, got over 191, which is a season's best in the qualifying in Birmingham. That also applies to Janila. Also jumped 191 earlier in the year in Turku. Hasn't jumped higher than 191 this year. So, Ella Janila holds the Finnish record at 197, which she did 2 years ago. Oh, Janila brings the bar down for the second time. Well, this 188, I'm a little bit surprised, but he's really sorting out these jumpers. I think it's almost inevitable. The law of averages suggests that we're going to lose a few jumpers at the next height. I should say that after the next attempts, so we've only had Heroshenko out of all the jumpers who've so far had second attempts to this height go clear. Morgan Lake, the next one to attempt this height. Often seen as impassive. I've seen her enjoy the occasion, especially last year when she finally took the British record to 2 metres. Fantastic performance. She jumped 199 indoors. Now coached by Yannick Tregaro, the great mentor of so many high jumpers. So Morgan Lake, second attempt at 188. Yes, it stays up. Gets it. I'm just looking around to see whether I can see her dad there, who was a coach during her early career, Eldon Lake. I'm sure he's in there somewhere. Well, did rattle the bar quite hard, but it stayed up. And there you go, we got a big smile from Morgan Lake. Now 6 women over 1m88. Kulachenko. Second attempt for the Cypriot. Well, comes in from quite an acute angle. There's a lot of activity above the bar. Kulachenko has had a very busy year. I'm just trying to count up the number of jumps she's had. This is her 17th competition for 2026 for Kulachenko. We're looking at Shikel. Shikel also has been very, very busy this year, and she gets over. Whoa, yes. Big sigh of relief there from the Frenchwoman. Nice jump, just leaves her ankles just trailing a little bit. She equalled a personal best of 1:92 when winning the French title in Albi 3 weeks ago. There's Mahuchik, just about to swap her training shoes for her jumping spikes. Just keeping hydrated. Competition's been going now 45 minutes and Mahuchik hasn't had a jump. She's just having to sit there and watch the rest of the jumpers take their efforts. Topic. There he is, prowling around, Dragutin Topic. Montbelliano is also a very good international standard triple jumper. Well, just one more runner to come round in front of her, and then there's a big gap. Now she can jump. Oh, she's jumping so far away from the bar. Just takes it off with her backside. Well, Father Dragutin getting very emotional. It's clearly an issue with the run-up. She's getting plenty of height. Just wondering why the run-up isn't functioning as well as it should. So now the third attempt. Idia Pieroni. Competes for the Carabinieri Police Club. I don't think I'll call her a policewoman. You do get a uniform and you do have to go and do a few days' work, but it is very much a sponsored position. No, Pieroni departs from the competition. Apart from that one jump at 183 when she got it together and cleared that height on the third occasion, it never really looked quite there tonight for Pieroni. Yeah, she's very unhappy, of course. Oh, there's some of the lads. One of those, Matteo Scioli in there. So Meryl Mice. He's just had one competition before coming to Birmingham, Mice. coming back from injury, did well to qualify, but no, can't put together 2 back-to-back competitions in just a few days. We saw in the qualifying a glimpse of the real Meryl Mice, though. She is a very talented high jumper. Cleared 197 last year. Just needs a few more competitions, a bit more conditioning. Might not happen for her this year, but I'm sure she's going to be back and firing on all cylinders next year. It'd be wonderful to see her perhaps challenge the 2-metre mark. Pironi in tears. I think she saw it as a big chance to perhaps improve on that personal best, which has been on the books since 2024. Personal best of 193, but it's not to be on this occasion for the Italian champion. There's Herashenko. Well, Topic likes to tuck herself up by the advertising hoardings. We've seen that at the World Championships last year and in other competitions. The women just need to find their own space. There's a few, of course, that chat during the course of competition with each other. But a lot of them just like to be in their own zone. Christina Honschel. The men's 10,000 metres coming to an end. It's just been won in a championship record by Andres Almgren at 27:23:44. But that does mean that these runners draped all around the track. A very big field for the men's 10,000 metres. It was split up in the early stage of the race, and the impact on the high jump is that every few seconds you've got one of them going past you. Well, most of the runners now finishing. Honschel just looking over to see when their net's coming around. Still a few back markers, lap back markers, who are coming through with 1 lap to go. Oh, good jump. Honschel gets it right at the 3rd attempt. She had 2 very close attempts, 2 close failures. As I like to say, put the jigsaw puzzle pieces together. There's Brigitte Kirschlagen, as I said, herself and a European medalist back in 1978. She approves. Now, Carmen Bruce. She's been struggling in this competition. 3 attempts to get over 183, and her first 2 attempts at this height not looking too convincing. Just like at 183, needs to dig deep now. So Bruce departs from the competition as well. Starting to lose a few women at this height. Still plenty in though. Next bar is 192. And we've got already 8 women over this height. And Jaroslava Mahučić to come in at 192. Don't worry, I don't think she's asleep. There's a familiar figure of Mahučić just relaxing. It'll be more than an hour after the competition starts before she takes her first jump. And you've just got to focus and keep concentrate while everything else is happening around you. Whether it's the early heights and women going out, or the 10,000 metre runners coming past you. So, Ella Janilla. Yes! She's happy. That was a good jump, a real clutch jump. And the body language was just so different with that attempt. So like Honschel, She's over at the third time of asking at 1m88. Kulichenko now. Oh yes, and she gets over. She made hard work of it. She was very close to the bar. She had to work really hard over the bar. But that jackknife move worked. So just Angelina Topic to take her third attempt at this height before the bar moves up to 192.
On the big screen on the right-hand side.
There's Marco Fazzanotti, former Italian record holder about 10 years ago, now a very respected coach. Well, that's a real shame, because I think a lot of people were expecting to see Angelina Topic up there and battling for the medals. Well, she's taking it very stoically. At the last European, she took a silver medal, but she's going to be well out of it on this occasion. Well, she was jumping so well indoors, clearing that 2 meters for the first time in her career. Well, her recent meetings haven't been quite so good. Struggled a little bit in her own national championships. She won 93. Did clear 196 in London at the Diamond League meeting. Well, now you can see the tears and the consolation of her father. He's changed roles now from coach to father. But there will, without doubt, be another day for Angelina Topic to succeed on a big stage. She's such a talent. We followed her progress all the way through the age groups. Topic won European Under-20 title in 2023, European Under-23 title last year in Bergen. But this event moves on and the bar moves up, and it's now 1m92. I've never had the opportunity to talk to Irina as such and ask her about that, about her little pre-jump rehearsal technique. Chatted to her on a few other occasions about other stuff, but not about that. Oh well. First time failure at 192 for Hedashenko. Jumpers at this height. That includes Jaroslav Mahuchik, who's yet to come in. Sojic brings the bar down. So now Christina Honsel got over 188 at the third time of asking. A first-time clearance here would do her competition a world of good, because those two failures at 188 could count against her. Honsel, German soil, a member of the well-known TV Wattenscheid Club. I just saw the press release from European Athletics today. Massive viewing figures for these championships in Germany. They're going to be following Christina Honsel, who does it. She gets it. Excellent. That puts a new complexion on her competition with that first-time clearance. Yes, she did tickle the bar, but not by much. Delight from her coach, Brigitte Kirschlagen. Well, Kirschlagen actually cleared 195 to take the bronze in Prague back in 1978. Tavernina. This will be a personal best. Equal her personal best from last year for Tavernina. No height there. Took off a long way away. Tavernina's coach, Silvio Cesani, former European indoor medalist. So, Emma Janilla had a really good jump at 193, 188 I should say. Just getting a little ahead of myself, but it did take 3 attempts for her to get over that previous height of 188. Louise Ekman. Ekman's coach, Ben Jonsson, as we say, mentored by Kajsa Bergqvist, who's part of the Swedish coaching staff. No. Ekman won previous major championships prior to this year, was the European under-23s back in 2019, when she finished down in 13. But that big breakthrough during the indoor season got her a trip to the World Indoor Championships. And she managed to finish 6th there. She's number 3 on the Swedish list at the moment. Of course, topped by the aforementioned Kajsa Bergqvist with that 2:08, which is still the world indoor record. Maria Vukovic. She's been looking good at the early heights. 183 and 188. Navigated comfortably. She'd turn it on something similar at 192. Looking good. Oh! Big height there, just left her legs trailing. Yes, exactly. That was just the merest of touches. But the problem was, it was a lateral touch. So it pulled the bar towards her, rather than sometimes you can get away with it if you hit the bar on the top. It just bounces up and down, gyrates up and down just a little. Now Morgan Lake. Lake leading her luck slightly. Had a first time clearance at 183, second time at 188. Nudged the bar on both occasions. No. Led in with a shoulder. There was nothing there, though, in terms of height. Hasn't been competing that frequently this year. Didn't have an indoor season and then came out in May. Jumped 188 to open her account in Xiamen at that Diamond League meeting in China in May. And has struggled a little bit. Season's best in Birmingham, which has obviously been her focal point. She no heighted at the Commonwealth Games. Crashed out at 82. At the Commonwealth Games, this woman finished 5th. She also only cleared 182 there. Very difficult conditions though. Cold, wet, windy up in Glasgow. No. Kulichenko. She jumps very close to the bar. But on this occasion, didn't quite have the height. So Solange Chiquel. Chiquel, good clearance at a second attempt at 188. This to equal her personal best. No, this wasn't quite there. She does come here in good form, equaling her personal best at the National Championships in Albi 3 weeks ago. Chiquel has now cleared 192 on no less than 4 occasions. So she'll be gunning to equal her personal best for the 5th time if she does get over with her 3rd attempt. 2nd attempt, I should say. Now Jaroslava Mahučić, the first sight of the Olympic champion, the world record holder. Cleared 2 meters 10 at the Paris Diamond League meeting 2 years ago. She's been waiting more than an hour and 5 minutes to take her first jump, but she's getting ready now. Climbing in. Oh, absolutely magnificent start to the competition for Jaroslava Mahučić. It's difficult to distinguish whether the cheers are for her or for the 1500-metre men, who are also just finishing their final. But Jaroslava Mahučić has got plenty of supporters. And the crowd around the high jump fan on the first bend rose as one when she cleared that height. Now, Heroshenko. Of course, Heroshenko and Mahučić know each other very well. Come from different parts of the Ukraine, often travel together. No, second time failure for Heroshenko. So as we start the second attempt, out of the 10 women in contention, 11 women I should say at this height. There's a couple of athletes in equal 10th place. That's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. It's only Mahučić and Kristina Honsel who got over at the first time of asking. Zojic though. Yes! You can almost see that from the moment that she took off that it was going to be a clearance. She did leave her legs just dangling. That's 3 over 192. So, Asia Tavanina, this would be equal her personal best. It was certainly a season's best. Well, went in there looking very determined, but when it came to taking off, it was all over the place. Quick run up. Just took off too far away though. So, second time failure for Tavanina. This is her first major championship senior final. There he is. And the half-beard's been shaved off overnight. Gianmarco Tamberi coming in to have a look. There's Tia Hellebuut, who coaches Ella Janilla. Hellebuut, of course, the 2008 Olympic champion. Hellebuut didn't automatically transition into coaching after she finished a jumping career. It was the male high jumper Thomas Carmoy who reached out to her and said, look, I need your help. Carmoy, who made the men's final a couple of years ago. It's now 3 years ago, I think she did. I was just chatting with Tia about it. She said, no, I probably wouldn't have gone into coaching if it hadn't been for Thomas. And then lots of other jumpers have followed suit. And certainly somebody with their expertise and experience has a lot of wise words to pass on. Now, Louise Ekman. Just looking across, I can see her coach, Bengt Jonsson, looking on. Kaisha Bergqvist is in there somewhere. I saw a glimpse of her earlier. Long striding run up. That brings the bar down for a second time. Maria Zorcic looking very thoughtful. Still quite a few women to take their second attempts at this height though, before we come round to a third attempt. So, Maria Vukovic, she went very close to that first attempt, just tipped it off with her heels. But there was bags of height there. Physically, I think she's come here on form. Takes a long, long run up. Yes, it stays up this time. In fact, for my money, she hit the bar harder, but just hit it on the top of the bar, rather than just dragging it off with the merest of touches from the front of it. She doesn't like it, but it stays up. There you go. 4 women having cleared 192. Mahuchik, Honsel at the first time of asking. Vukovic and Zorcic with their second jumps. Morgan Lake. Not there for Lake. Needs to perhaps rethink a few things prior to her third attempt. Still Kulachenko and Jikel to take their second attempt before we embark on those third attempts. Kulachenko. Wasn't that far away for the Cypriot. Not a bad effort from Kulachenko. In 2024, did clear a Cypriot record of 197. Finished 7th in the final of the Paris Olympics, Kulachenko. And the best ever performances by a Cypriot athlete in the Olympic Games ever in any event. And she'll be in action as well in a couple of weeks' time at the Mediterranean Games, which are being held in Taranto in Italy. She'll have chances of medals there. Solène Gicquel, second attempt for her. She'll come up against Kulachenko, actually. Gicquel's in the French team to go to the Mediterranean Games as well. And they can compare notes because Gicquel also brought the bar down for the second time of asking. She's climbed back into a sleeping bag, and that big ski jacket, or weather jacket, comes fully prepared. Well, previous nights you wouldn't have needed that, but tonight it's a bit chillier. Last couple of nights we've been up to about 24, 25, even after the sun has gone down. But tonight, just going to have a quick look as we see Irina Heroshenko jumping. Oh yes, Heroshenko gets it. This is brewing up to be a really good competition. There's now 5 women over 1m92. And Heroshenko continues her interest in this competition. Some of the roars you might hear are for the javelin, because that's starting to get underway. We've just had a championship record in the javelin. I'm sure you know everything about the high jump if you're watching this dedicated feed, but if you want to look at all the other results of every other event, go to the European Athletics website or download the European app for mobile platforms as we look at Asia Taverniina take her leave from this competition. None of her attempts at 192 look particularly good, to be fair, but nevertheless, she's done well to make it here. Season's best in qualifying, getting over 191, and that would have equalled her personal best. Another day, and perhaps at those Mediterranean Games I've just mentioned, which will be on home soil. Now, Ella Janilla. Janilla, European indoor bronze medalist in 2021. No. Didn't have the height there and came down on the bar. She's just getting back into her groove. Missed the indoor season through injury. 191 was the season's best prior to this competition, so she was attempting to go higher than she's done this year. So Louise Ekman, her turn. No, never had the height and took off too far away. Didn't really hit her marks on a run-up for that jump. So at the moment, after first-time clearances at 183 and 188, she's in 6th place. Morgan Lake. This would be a season's best for Lake. Just hasn't looked quite at the races today, it has to be said. She experienced competitor. She knows what's needed to bring it out at the third attempt. No. So Lake ends British interest in this particular final. Plenty of British interest still in some of the other finals going on tonight. Struggled all evening, not quite at the same form that we saw last summer. That's been the case all summer long. Kulichenko. Needed 3 attempts to get over 188. This is her third attempt at 192. This would be a season's best for her. No, but it wasn't a bad effort. Bit of frustration from her. Thanks the crowd for their support. This is her first ever European Championships, and she's made the final here. She's in 10th place at the moment, equal 10th. So the very last jumper to attempt this height before the bar goes up to 195. Solange Chiquel out to equal her personal best with this third attempt at 192. No. So with Chiquel going out, we are now down to 5 jumpers. Mahuchik and Honsel, Vukovic, Sodzik and Heroshenko. So we have 2 Ukrainians, Honsel from Germany, Vukovic from Montenegro and Sodzik from Poland. I had a feeling it was going to be 192 that we'd see the big shakeout. Just taking into consideration the performances of the athletes over the course of the season. Some of the athletes excelled in qualifying in very good conditions, late morning, nice warm weather, no wind. It's a bit chillier tonight. Here we see Sodzik taking in everything around her, just trying to keep in focus. Slightly erratic competition for Sodzik. She's in there battling for the medals. As I said, sometimes when she has a failure, it looks all horribly wrong, and then she just gets everything right again. She's got the ability to adjust. Christina Honsel over 192 at the first attempt after having all sorts of problems at 188. No problems though with her one and only clearance, 192, and sailed over. And I sometimes wonder what's going through people's minds, because Mahuchik is just such a dominating figure, at least as far as the Europeans are concerned. On the global stage, yes, of course, we've got the 2 Australians, Nicola Olislagers and Elena Patterson. They certainly can rival Mahuchik for talent. Heroshenko, the first woman at 195. 5 women still in this competition. Heroshenko been over this height on many, many occasions. Just looking at her stats, she's been over 198 on no less than 9 occasions. No. Well, Heroshenko missed all of last year mixture of injury and maternity break. This year a real transitional year, but she's doing well. Zodzic, last year's World Championship silver medalist. Just as a reminder, she cleared 2 meters in pretty dreadful conditions in Tokyo during a downpour, and she's over! Zodzic nails it. 195 at the first attempt. That really lays down the gauntlet to the other women. Follow that. Well, there's still Hansel, Vukovic and Mahučić to come. That brought a big smile to her face, though. Once again, there's a picture of Mahučić just focusing. She's got her own thoughts. Christina Hansel. Well, Hansel was over 192 at the first time of asking after a few problems at the earlier height of 188. That 192 clearance will have given her a lot of confidence. She's been over 192 or better on 8 occasions. Not quite there for a 9th clearance at this height or better. This would be a season's best for her. Went over 194 at a French meeting back in June. Now Maria Vukovic did tickle the bar and needed a 2nd time clearance, but there's a lot of height in her jumps. It's as though she's really enjoying this competition, but really pumped up for it as well. And I've been impressed what I've seen technically from Vukovic. But now the pressure's on. Maria Vukovic, first attempt, 195. Not that far away. Was very close, and I think she'll know it. Just needs a few tweaks and adjustments. So now, Jaroslava Mahučić comes to her marks, 195. There's the only other woman who's cleared. Brief glimpse there of Maria Zodzic, the pole. Starts at the edge of the track. Oh! Whoa! Well, that is a surprise. And that hands the advantage to Maria Zodzic. She absolutely flew over 1.92 meters. But it is Zodzic who's the only woman to have cleared at 195. Now Zodzic took a silver last year at the pole at the World Championships. So now it's the turn of Irina Heroshenko, 24 European bronze medalist in Rome, and later that year the Olympic bronze medalist as well. It's a bit too premature to say that Zodzic is bringing Mahučic's reign to an end after the Ukrainian won in Munich and Rome. It certainly does change the dynamics of this competition. There's Mahučic's coach, Tatiana Stepanova. And Huchik is listening intently to what Stepana has had to say. Did see him also, you saw both Honsel and Zodchik just shivering ever so slightly. It is getting cooler out there. So Heroshenko, second attempt at 195. Started the outdoor season with a season's best of 197 at that Diamond League in China, in Xiamen. There's been over 196 on home soil in Bialystok. Sorry, Bialystok, of course, in Poland, but it's very near the Ukraine border. Then the season slightly flatlined. Only finished second in the national championships, and with a rather modest mark of 187 in Lviv. Huchik went there and cleared 2 meters. So just waiting for the men's 4x100 meters to get underway. It's quite often the issue when you've got track finals. I'm just looking at 1 or 2 of the lead-off runners and some of the other men dotted around the track, and they're rubbing their shoulders as well, as if to say, "Oh, it's a bit chilly tonight." No problem about Maria Zodchik keeping warm. I'm sure being the only woman over 195 on the first attempt will give her a little glow as well. She's looking pretty impassive. I bet you inside she's grinning away. Well, there you see the 100-meter men and relay lead-off runners fly past Heroshenko. And that gives Heroshenko the chance to go to her marks. And we'll see that little pre-jump routine of her putting her arms out in front of her. Just a little wiggle of the fingers. There we go. No. I just wonder to what extent she was distracted after that hiatus and the rules in the stadium for the 4x100 meter men, as Great Britain and Northern Ireland bring them home in gold in 38.45. Any home victory being greeted with massive roars. So Heroshenko, 1 more attempt. I wonder what's going through the mind of Yaroslava Huchik. They'd have almost put your house on the fact that she would have cleared 195, but it wasn't to be. Honsel. Honsel jumped sparingly this year. No. Let in with a shoulder. Just pitter-pattered on a run-up. I don't think that was a good jump at all. But it's going to take a lot to recover from a jump like that at a 195. That wasn't close. Nevertheless, she's still in a medal position in 3rd place by virtue of that first-time clearance at 192. Maria Vukovic. And of all the jumps that we've seen so far that have ended in failure, all those first-round jumps, and Honsel's and Heroshenko's, Vukovic's, I think, was the best effort. It was the closest. Now can she just fine-tune it a little bit more? 34 years of age now, attacking. Yes, she's over. Those tweaks were delivered. Oh, Maria Vukovic gets over on a second attempt. She was the silver medalist 4 years ago in Munich, and she's in the silver medal position as it stands at the moment. Still Jaroslava Mahučić to go with her second attempt. Well, good effort from Maria Vukovic. So just Jaroslava Mahučić then, getting very quickly to her marks. Jumpers at this stage have 1 minute each to complete their jumps. This time no problem. 3 women over, 195. Well, Mahučić makes amends for that rather scrappy first attempt, which saw her bring the bar down. So we've got 3 women over 1.95 m, and the bar's going to go up to 197, but another 2 women to take their third attempts, starting with Irina Heroshenko. Can Heroshenko keep her interest in this competition? No. Never quite looked as though it was going to happen at 195 for Heroshenko. So she's currently in 5th place on countback. Once again, very close to a medal, but not quite there. She does have those 2 bronzes from 2024 competitions, those major championships, the European indoors and the, I should say the Europeans and the Olympic Games to her name, as well as a stack of 4th, 5th and 6th places. Honsel. Well, so far, she's having what you could say was the best competition of her career. She was 4th at the World Indoor Championships, but of course not everybody competes indoors. 4th place coming in fact at the 24 World Indoors. It's a really good competitive performance from Honsel. Wasn't a good jump, that second attempt was poor, but she pulled it out at 188 when she was in trouble. And that was a much better jump, but unfortunately it also ends in failure when Christina Honsel just misses out on a medal. That first time clearance at 192, earning her 4th place and the applause of her coach and former European Championships medalist, Brigitte Kuhlschlager. So we're down to 3 women. We know who the medalists are going to be, but we don't know which order they're going to come in. Pretty similar situation to last night. We had 3 men over 227. Scioli, Tamberi and Doroshuk, 2 Italians and a Ukrainian. And then it got filtered out, and it was Gianmarco Tamberi with his clearance at 232 who nailed it and got his 3rd consecutive and 4th overall European title. Well, Mahučić, she's in 2nd place at the moment, but still very much in contention for a 3rd consecutive title. If she does get a 3rd consecutive title, she would match the feat of Ruth Beitia, the great Spaniard who took 3 titles in 2012, 2014 and 2016. Of course, a hat-trick a little bit easier to get in the current modern era after these championships going biennial in 2012. Going a little bit further back, the Romanian legend Yolanda Ballas won back-to-back titles in 1958 and 1962. Rosie Ackerman, the last straddler to win this title, getting 1974 and 1978 titles. So Maria Zodzik, who's never had a Pole win the European women's high jump title. No height there. So it'll be Vukovic up next. Vukovic looking into the stands, possibly looking for a coach, Dimitrios Vasilikos. Earlier in her career, she actually did work with Dragutin Topic as well when he was the Montenegrin national coach. Just tightening up. It's so important to have a really firm grip. Sometimes you have to do running repairs. You don't want your shoes shifting on your run-up. There's a lot of torque when you go around the bend of a run-up. So, Maria Vukovic, it's just 1 centimetre below the national record. She's been over twice this year. In a Greek meeting in Philadelphia and then in Budapest, both a bit earlier this summer. So in 3rd place at the moment with those failures. Not a bad attempt. Arguably a fair bit better than Zodzik's on her first attempt at 1.97 m, but Zodzik is still leading the way after that first-time clearance at the previous height. So with Vukovic bringing the bar down, can Mahuchik snatch pole position, if you like? Regain the initiative. Zodzik just doing a few running repairs to her hair. Now, Mahuchik. Yeah, they're going to hold up the 4x100 metres, I think, while she takes this jump. The women relay runners ready to go, but Mahuchik gets the priority. First attempt, 1.97. Yaroslava Mahuchik, over and well over. Now, will that be the gold medal winning jump? It could well be. Maria Zodzik and Maria Vukovic could well have something to say about it, but what a magnificent clearance from Yaroslava Mahuchik. Once again, brings out her best when the occasion demands it. Her coach, Tetiana Stepanova, approves. And so do the rest of the Yaroslava Mahuchik fan club in the stands, just behind the high jump fan. So Maria Zodzik silver medal last year behind Olli Slagers, when Mahuchik had to settle for bronze. Attacking the bar, no. Got it all wrong. Just didn't get off the ground, basically. lost focus and lost concentration. But I've said on several previous occasions this evening, Zojic is one of those jumpers who can do running repairs to her technique. She's got that ability. She can put behind her a really bad jump like the last one and then suddenly dig deep and produce a really good one. Some jumpers can't do that. They let bad jumps with their first and second attempts perhaps at one particular height affect them, and they get increasingly worse. But Zojic has the capability of coming back with aplomb. Vukovic was respectably close with her first attempt at 197. And they're holding up the relay for her as well. No, it wasn't as good as her first attempt. What a pity. So third attempts for both Maria Zojic and Maria Vukovic, the Pole and the Montenegrin, after having to watch Yaroslava Heroshenko fly clear at 197. Now's the time to start talking about the championship record, and it doesn't belong to Yaroslava Mahuchic. No, in her previous two appearances at these championships, Mahuchic cleared 195 in 2022 when she beat Vukovic on count back. In Rome 2 years ago, she cleared 201, but the championship record is actually 2 meters and 3. Collectively owned by Tia Hellebuth and Venelina Veneva from 2006 in Gothenburg, and then equalled by Blanka Vlasic, the phenomenal Croatian, 4 years later in Barcelona. Well, we've seen Hellebuth there. She was coaching the Finn, Ellen Janila, who finished a bit further down the list tonight. She'll be watching, wondering whether she's going to have another 4 years of a share of the championship record. So Zojic and Vukovic just told to wait while the relay gets underway. On this dedicated live stream, you'll see them flying past very shortly. But Mahuchic will have to wait while these two women have their third and final attempts, whether it ends in success or failure at 197 for Zojic and Vukovic. So this high jump competition, it's been going for 1 3/4 hours now. Zojic seems to be having a few issues with his shoes. High jumpers in the past, they've often just signed up their shoes as they've been going along. I've spoken to high jumpers at international level who say that they have to release the pressure on the laces between jumps because they lose feeling with their feet if they've had them too tight for too long. Nowadays, for the last 15 years, high jump shoes have had Velcro straps to help tighten the shoes. You can see there, Vukovic, she's got strapping on her left shoe, which is a takeoff leg. Jumpers who take off on their left leg come from the right-hand side, and right foot jumpers come from the left-hand side, such as this woman, Maria Zojic. Third and final attempt for Zojic. She's in the silver medal position at the moment. Could it be another silver medal for her like it was in Tokyo, or can she clear this height and carry on challenging Jaroslava Mahučík. No, it's a decent jump, but it's not to be tonight. Maria Zojic brings the bar down 3 times at 197. She has a medal, and at the moment it's a silver. That'll depend on what Maria Vukovic does in barely a minute's time. The Montenegrin also having a 3rd attempt. On countback, Vukovic is at the moment in the bronze medal position. If she goes clear, she elevates herself to the silver and has a chance of carrying on battling for gold with Jaroslava Mahučík. That's her coach, Dimitrios Vasilikos. I wonder if Maria Vukovic is an Oasis fan. The Britpop sensations, Wonderwall is blaring out. More of a Manchester group. And of course we do hear some of the great Birmingham groups over the course of the championships. Maria Vukovic now focusing. She'll have put out of her mind whatever's coming over the sound system. She'll be deaf to almost everything in the stadium. 3rd and final attempt at 1.97 meters. Jaroslava Mahučík joining in the rhythmic clapping. Maria Vukovic attacking 197. No, doesn't take off at all. Nevertheless, she's on the podium at the European Championships for the 2nd time in her career. Silver 4 years ago in Munich. It's bronze tonight for the Montenegrin. I might be wrong, but I think she's the only athlete from Montenegro since independence that has ever won a European Championships medal. So the Montenegrin flag will be flying at the medal ceremony. That is actually scheduled for roughly half an hour's time. Got a feeling they might have to delay it for a little bit. They do get to have the medals hung around their necks immediately after the competition. But the competition isn't over yet. Jaroslava Mahučík now can choose what height she wants the bar put up to. We'll get that communicated to us very shortly. In theory, the next increment is 199, but I wouldn't be surprised if she puts it up higher. Maybe 201 for a season's best for her. That would be an outdoor best, or maybe 204. She went over 203 indoors. So once again, as on so many occasions, the spotlight on in the high jump competition is solely focused on Jaroslava Mahučík. She's now a 3-time European Championships gold medalist outdoors. She's got 3 European indoors as well. 2024 Olympic champion, 2023 world champion, 2-time world indoor champion, including this March in Torun. And then a whole host of silver and bronze medals when she hasn't been on top of the podium. Olympic bronze 5 years ago in Tokyo at those pandemic-affected games when they were postponed from 2020. At the age of just 19, Mahučík took a bronze on the greatest athletic stage of all. Tonight, well, it's the greatest continental stage for athletics. Has indeed passed 199. It will be 201. This will equal her season's best. It's a European outdoor lead. Looking very determined, flying in. slightly shorter stride. Good effort though. Good height. Takes off a long way away, but you need to do that at the high heights. Because if you're still in there when the bar gets up to 2 meters in the women's competition, you've got to be coming in very quickly and got to be very strong as well. Indeed, it would be a world outdoor lead. Nicola Oleslager, the great Australian, also cleared 2:01 in that competition at the London Diamond League meeting. There's Maria Zodzik, once again, another silver medal on at a big championship. Yeah, she's looking very happy. So Mahujic, just out of camera shot while we're looking at Zodzik, going to a mark. There she is. Second attempt at 2:01. So the crowd behind her. Well, all the track events have now come to an end. She's the last person in action on this penultimate night here in the Alexander Stadium. Very close indeed on her second attempt, Yaroslava Mahujic. Third and final attempt beckons for the Ukrainian. There's still a substantial crowd here in the stadium. Still watching the conclusion of day 6 at these European Athletics Championships. Tomorrow, well, we've got the last day and they start with the marathons first thing in the morning. Women's marathon starts at 7:30, men's marathon at 8 o'clock. So for die-hard athletics fans, well, you don't get much sleep tonight. Mahujic. No, she's not wasting much time. The Swiss medalists in the 4x100 relay just being ushered around her. Give her a bit of space, says the official. Not too many people have left from that area alongside the high jump mat. Now she's just trying to calm herself, calm the crowd. So, third and final attempt at this height. Second attempt was solid, if not spectacular. Oh, now. Touch of the Gianmarco Tamberi is getting the crowd behind her. She's got the gold medal. Now she can be the entertainer as well. The master of ceremonies. Just wonder whether Tamberi's still in the crowd. Third and final attempt at 2:01. Mahujic, almost there, so close. That was her best attempt of the three. Yaroslava Mahujic, nice little curtsy for the crowd. She is, though, the queen of European high jumping. She takes her third consecutive European gold medal. A terrific performance. And quite rightly thanks all the officials who've done such a magnificent job here in the Alexander Stadium. She's the very last person in action here in Birmingham tonight on a Saturday night. She's got her own Ukraine flag, doesn't have to borrow it. She's worn it around her shoulders on so many occasions. They've given her one specially. There she is, confirmed for the third time, the third consecutive time. The European champion in the women's high jump is Ukraine's Yaroslava Mahuchik. Congratulations from the bronze medalist, Maria Vukovic.
Yeah, 1 second.
Going off to celebrate with the Ukrainian supporters. We all know what the situation in the country's been like. Since the war started in February 2022, it has been a challenge for any Ukrainian athlete to compete and compete well on the international stage. They've had difficulties that no other athlete in any other European country has had to face. Every Ukraine gold is deservedly celebrated with that little bit of extra energy. And Yaroslava Mahuchik is quite rightly the poster girl of Ukrainian athletics. Well, Ukraine got a silver last night, thanks to Oleg Doroshuk, Ukrainian who won the world indoor title, taking silver behind Jean-Marc Tamberi. But for Ukraine, it's gold tonight here in Birmingham. And Mahuchik over the years has been a tremendous contributor to those Ukraine gold reserves. We were joking with Tim Hutchings at the race walk this morning. We were joking about them not necessarily being the real thing. Possibly chocolate, because there's a very well-known chocolate manufacturer based in Birmingham. Makes very good chocolate, it has to be said. But tonight, it's solid bronze, silver and gold. From the right-hand side of your screen, Montenegro's bronze medalist Maria Vukovic. Over to the left side, Poland's silver medalist Maria Zodzic. But in the middle, with the gold medal around her neck, it's Ukraine's Yaroslava Mahuchik. That was terribly coordinated, girls. Ladies, whichever. Second attempt wasn't that much better. Come on, there's going to have to be a bit of choreography. A nice shot there for the photographers. That's certainly going to be one that many websites and newspapers are going to be using overnight and tomorrow morning.
Not me. Here we don't. Me with Greek team, eh?
Now, she hasn't triumphed quite as often as Yaroslava Mahuchik, but she's certainly been flying the flag for Montenegrin athletics. Maria Vukovic has got her own Montenegrin flag, which is, I don't know whether it's unique in European athletics, a frilled one. There's the final result. Mahuchik takes gold, the only woman over 197. Maria Zodzic and Maria Vukovic, both over 195, split by failures. It's the Pole that takes silver. Montenegro's Vukovic, the bronze. There's the full lineup all the way down. 15 athletes in this final. Big surprise, Angelina Topic couldn't do better than get over her opening height of 183, but there'll be more occasions for the great Serbian to shine.